the so-called miracle of the Quran. Here are my reasons for disagreeing. First, Muhammad served for many years as a trading camel caravan merchant for Khadija, whom he later married. He would naturally know reading, writing, and arithmetic as he traveled to Damascus and other cities. Second, the most and articulate in the Arabic language are the Bedouin Arabs. Muhammad lived with them as a child, then traveled with them as an adult, and learned their classical language, which to this day is not any different from. In other words, just as Shakespeare and the King James Bible present us with beautiful 17th century English, so does the Quran present us with beautiful 7th century Arabic. Thirdly, we are told that when the treaty with the Meccans was to be signed by Muhammad, they refused to acknowledge him as the apostle of Allah. Relenting to their demands, he struck out the title and wrote instead with his own hand, son of Abdullah, and signed a peace treaty called Hudaybiyah. Fourth, another incident supporting his literacy occurred on Muhammad's deathbed. Realizing that he was dying, he motioned to Aisha, his favorite wife, Ara 15, to bring him something upon which he would write the name of his successor. But he was too weak to write. I ask, why would he make such a request from Aisha if he did not know how to write? 5. While visiting the St. Catherine's Monastery at Mount Sinai in 1979, I was shown a personal letter said to be signed by Muhammad himself, guaranteeing the freedom of the monks and their monastery, and dated AD 632. The document was issued because the monks honored Islam by building a small mosque within their walled fortress. If this can be verified, it presents a strong proof for Muhammad's literacy. Pardon me.
Can I stop for a second? Can I stop you for a second? Can I stop you for a second? I want to know about the prayer.
Pardon us for just a moment, please.
I'm sorry for the interruption, brother. After 5 minutes, there will be prayer for those who are from the city for the Maghrib prayer. Please, if you want to leave in about 7:45, you can go outside, pray Maghrib. For the brothers who are traveling, the brothers are gonna group the two prayers later tonight in the center. So for those of you who want to leave and pray Maghrib, please do so without interruption.
It's going to be after 5 minutes, and it's going to take us 1 minute to finish it up. People who are traveling, please stay here. We will combine both of them to akhir, inshallah.
Thank you.
Sixth, finally, I wish to seal the truth and provide an unequivocal, solid, sound, and sweeping proof that Muhammad was literate. Here it is, from the famous, frequently memorized Surah Al-Alaq, 96, 1 through 5. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful. Read, in the name of thy Lord, who created man from a clot. Read, and thy Lord is the most bounteous, who taught by the pen, taught man that which he knew not. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Iqra bismi rabbika alladhi khalaq, khalaqa al-insana min alaq. Iqra wa rabbuka al-akram, alladhi allama bil-qalam, allama al-insana ma lam ya'lam. What do you think of the following verse and what it means? Surah 16, verse 98. When thou dost read, God is speaking to Muhammad, the Quran, seek Allah's protection from Satan, the rejected one. فَإِذَا قَرَأْتَ الْقُرْآنِ فَاسْتَعِذْ بِاللَّهِ مِنَ الشَّيْطَانِ الرَّجِيمِ. I cannot understand for the life of me why Muslims the world over insist on calling the most famous, fascinating, formidable Arab leader an unlettered or an illiterate prophet. One notices that Allah told Muhammad to read, and Muhammad read. Theoretically speaking, if one can read, then can he not also write? Why would Muhammad's God also state, who taught by the pen? In a manual of Hadith, page 3 to 6, Aisha said that the angel Gabriel ordered Muhammad to read 3 consecutive times, and he read. Again, I submit to you that with hardly any exception, if one can read, he can also write. Therefore, Muhammad spent 23 years researching and putting the Quran together. But he died unexpectedly due to pneumonia and the poisoned goat he was fed by a Jewish woman after he killed her people, thus cutting short his plan to edit the book. That is one of the numerous reasons the Quran is difficult to read and understand. I have written 8 books thus far, and if my works had not been edited as many as 10 times, the material would not have made much sense or sequence. No one who studies the Quran in any language will fail to notice that there are monumental problems in the contents. It is claimed by Arab scholars that the literary style of the Quran is superior to all other books in the Arabic language. Although this is not totally true, this claim no more proves its inspiration than that a man's strength demonstrates his wisdom, or a woman's beauty her virtue. Only by its teachings, principles, and conceptual content can a book be judged rightly, not by its eloquence, elegance, poetic strength, or attractive cover. By reading the life of Muhammad and the history of the Quran, it is easy to conclude that the Quran reflects the life and character of Muhammad and the 7th century culture of Arabia. The following is the opinion of the famed Dr. Tisdale, who is one of the most capable 20th century students of the Quran. The Quran breathes the air of the desert. It enables us to hear the battle cries of the Prophet's followers as they rush to the onset. It reveals the working of Muhammad's own mind and shows the gradual declension of his character as he passed from the earnest and sincere, though visionary enthusiast, into the conscious impostor and open sensualist. Is the Quran a miracle? The Quran is not a unique literary masterpiece. There are numerous examples of other beautifully crafted poems, epics, and scripture from the classical period, many much older than the Quran. The Rig Veda of the Aryans of India was composed in Sanskrit between 1000 to 1500 years BC. It is larger than the Quran, similar in nature, and was written by several men. A blind poet by the name of Homer is responsible for the two most eloquent poems in the Greek language, the Odyssey and Iliad. What should we say of the Gilgamesh epic, Code of Hammurabi, the Book of the Dead of ancient Egypt, the tablets of Ibla, and other archaeological finds of ancient cultures? Just because these materials are unique or eloquent does not necessarily give them the status of divine inspiration. Umru al-Qais, some of whose poems were among the famed Mu'allaqat, suspended poems at Kaaba, was one of the most eloquent of the ancient Arab poets before Muhammad. In one of these poems, which was not part of the Mu'allaqat, 4 verses appear which were borrowed and inserted by Muhammad into the Quran. They appear in Surah Al-Qamar, the moon, 54, verse 1, 29, 31, and 46. I'll read them in Arabic, and you can see just from Arabic what they are. Verse 1. اقتربت الساعة وانشق القمر. امرؤ القيس. دنت الساعة وانشق القمر. Next verse, 29. فنادوا صاحبهم فتعاطى فعقر. فرماني فتعاطى فعقر. إن أرسلنا عليهم صيحة واحدة فكانوا كهشيم المحتضر. كانت الساعة أدهى وأمر فتركني كهشيم المحتضر. Last verse, 46. بل الساعة موعد وهم الساعة إذا أدهى وأمر. دنت الساعة وانشق القمر. Umru al-Qais had a daughter who once heard this surah recited aloud by Fatima, the Prophet's daughter. She immediately recognized her father's poem and demanded to know how her father's verses had become part of a divine revelation all of a sudden, supposedly preserved on stone tablets in heaven. Surprisingly enough, the poet had been dead for 50 years already. Producing something like the Quran is now accomplished. The challenge was made centuries ago by Muhammad himself to produce something equal to the Quran in eloquence. Poets before him and after him did just that. Al-Isra, Surah 1790, and Yunus 1039 tells you that. Furthermore, a small group of dedicated scholars in Jerusalem have labored to achieve the fulfillment of a 16-year-old project. It is the translation of the life of Christ into Quranic Arabic. This is it, and I am quoting now. باب السكينة مقدسي بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل يا أيها الذين آمنوا إن كنتم تؤمنون بالله حقا فآمنوا بي ولا تخافوا إن لكم عند الله جنات نزلا فلا يسبقنكم إلى الله ليعدها لكم ثم لآتينكم نزلة أخرى وإنكم تعرفون السبيل إلى قبلة العليا فقال له توما الحواري مولانا إنا لنملك من ذلك علما فقال له عيسى: أنا هو الصراط إلى الله حقا ومن دوني